Hey everyone, good morning. Today I will spend the night in the forest, and because that I never bring any tent or sleeping bag, my heat really depend of the fire and reflection that I make. Today I've chosen this spot because of this stream, so I got access to water, rocks. There's also a very decent amount of hardwood, dead hardwood for my fire. I got long grass, and there's also some small dead trees that I will be able to use for my shelter. So stay with me, and I hope you enjoy the trip. I really think that it's important to get used to work with minimal modern material. When you make a camp, you don't need to bring a chainsaw, a saw, a machete, an axe, and everything. All you need is your knife. There's a way to work with this. Make a cut all around the trunk. And from there, you can break it. Then you finish it. So yes, of course, it's a little bit more time consuming, but you don't depend on all these tools and many kind of knife. It's very important. That said, if your knife is very light or if there's no bump at the end like this, the knife will be tempted to get off your hand when you hit with it. So what I like to do, I use a piece of wood and I just go through. Okay, I finally got a good amount of kindling, medium wood and big wood. I think I'm ready to spend the night. My shelter is done. The wall on the other side is done too. Now what I do is I cut the ground where I want my fire pit to make sure there's no roots. And from there I use a piece of wood. There's a big root. I cut it. I need to take this root away. There we go. And I continue digging. Because eventually the coals will go closer and closer. I don't want that. I just realized that I got no bed. I need to make myself a little bed. The rocks will be very useful here. There we go. I clean around because this fire will last a very long time, and I know that eventually my fire pit will be full. Okay. Now I need to make myself a bed. I got about 1 hour left and I need to make a friction fire too. So of course today I've seen a lot of possibilities for a bow drill set, and I've seen this very nice piece of balsam fir which I'm going to use for my set, and I hope it's going to work pretty fast. I've been working very often in the dark and it's not easy. This is a species that I use in these rushing moments. When I need an ember fast, I know that this species can give me an ember on my first try 80% of the time. So this is a species I'm very confident with. It's getting very late and I have not eaten yet, and I know that my lunch is gonna take a little while, so I cannot spend too much time working on a fire because it's been a hard day and I want to eat. Tonight is going to be steak and potato. Lately there was no rain, so I'm extremely confident on getting an ember extremely fast. Spindle is done. we go. When you split the wood like this, it will often split twisted. You just put it back straight like this. And once again, be careful when you're a little bit on a rush. All of my major cuts were done when I was on a hurry. Sorry, my English is getting bad. It's been a hard day. So, herd board ready. Let's make a number. My upside tip was very small, very thin, and that's the reason why it get off. Usually I like to make it bigger at the beginning, then when it's burned, the wood is harder, I make it very thin to avoid unnecessary friction on the handling block. By the way, many people tell me that they got a hard time to put the spindle in the bow. It's because that your spindle is too small. As you can see, I make long spindle, and that's why it's so easy for me to insert in the bow, because if I was working 1 hour on December, my spindle would be very small, and from there it's much harder. The burning is done. I don't have much space on the side, so I'm gonna make a little bit a smaller notch this time. I got about 30 minutes left of light. As you can see on my camera, it's getting darker and darker. Actually, the sun is going down of the trees in about 10 minutes. I need to make a number. I can see that I will get a number very easily on my first try, probably. I will just remove the outer layers of the tip because it's not round. I've made my spindle very fast, and I don't want to redo a burning hole because I did not take the time to make it correctly. You can be on a rush, but there's always some important step that you cannot skip. Every time that I take a break, I change hole on my handling block to avoid unnecessary friction. There we go, I got a number now. Very nice number. Okay. Thanks God. So today I did harvest some yellow birch bark. This is the second layer. I've rubbed it, but not too much because I want it to stick together. I found another birch with thinner bark. This one I've rubbed it a lot. I put it in the middle of my bird nest made of birch bark. So this first layer will catch on fire very easily and will take my second layer on fire. My birch bark is a little bit wet. And it's dead. Wow, that sucks. Yep. My birch bark, when I rub it in my hand, my hands are wet a little bit. And I've ruined my amber. But it's alright, because I think I got another try on this one. Also, when you are on a hurry, I was blowing too much, too hard, and I'm pretty sure this is the reason why I failed to catch my tinder bundle on fire. So I learned from my mistakes and I redo another ember. There we go. Got myself another nice ember. And this time, I will not blow too hard. I am on a hurry, but I need to take my time. My bark was very wet. This time, I will keep my set and put it aside because we never know. Maybe tonight I will wake up and everything is dead, which I highly think it's not going to happen, and I hope it's not going to happen, but I keep an option all the time. Now I can finally relax. I got my fire, I got my shelter, my firewood. Oh, it's been a very hard day, very long day. Oh yes. Oh, what a nice day. Woo! And the sun is about to go down. About 10 minutes left, as I said. It's a perfect timing. Now I will prepare myself a little something to cook my steaks, and from there I will just enjoy. Salut, salut. My dog is very tired too, so I will try my bed for the first time. And it's very comfortable. It's gonna do the job tonight. Bye bye, son. So once again, my dog took my bed, and that's business as usual for me. As you can see, I'm using my big logs because I'm gonna split them with the fire and make a bed of a very big logs, because they tend to not burn very well, but as a bed they will keep my coals very hot, and that's what I want. As we go deeper in the night, I will need to adjust to the lightning, and of course the quality of the video will decrease. This is all greenwood. This is a very simple way to cook the meat, and it gives an amazing taste to it. There we go. It's gonna be a good lunch tonight. With the sticks like this, you need to move the piece of meat quite often, because of course under the piece of wood it's not going to cook very well, but you move it and it makes amazing meat. Hey. So I think it's pretty ready. I like my steak to be burned on the outside. It gives a crazy taste to it. I use this knife for everything. Cutting trees down, making bow drills, making bushcraft carving, and eating. This knife is good at everything. Perfectly cooked. Bon appetit. Mm. Oh wow. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Wow. I never get used to this. So I gotta say, I'm really impressed by the efficiency of these rocks. I've been using rocks before, but I never really made a wall like this using flat rocks. And the heat is out of this world. I mean, it's too warm for me because as you can see on the front, there's no rocks, and the heat, there's no wall. So the heat is right on us, and the ember are already getting a good amount of, there's a good amount of ember. And the bad thing is, because that I've been using rocks from a stream, even if I have chosen the driest rocks, there was still humidity inside, and I had some major rock explosion. As you can see, this one made some huge flint, and there was no problem because I was protected. Me and my dog were protected by the logs. But be careful when using rocks from stream, because even if you choose the driest one, there's still humidity inside, and they will react to this extreme heat. So far so good. Heat will definitively not be a problem tonight. As you can see, this is a pretty big fire. I can afford this because I had a lot and a lot of firewood. When I began my fire, I saw that I was using a pretty big amount of wood, so I went and got at least about 10 additional big logs. So I know I will have plenty of wood for the night. So let's continue this. So we have been sleeping a little bit. Um, I have no idea how long we slept, but when I woke up there was only coals. The coals stay warm a very long time, so it was not cold. And the difficult part is to not know if I need to keep some wood or if I have plenty of wood, because there's no way to know what time is it right now. There's no moon, nothing, so it's very dark. And yeah, I can feel that the night is getting very colder. In the shelter it's very warm, at least 15 degrees Celsius. But as soon as we go out, it's very cold. Maybe 5 degrees Celsius right now, I guess. So I think it's time to make some bread with maple syrup. I don't like to bring material, but I like to bring plenty of food. This is one thing I really enjoy when I do this kind of trip. So it's bread time. I did not do the mix at home. I got the raw material, the raw ingredient. So I need to mix that up and yeah, so far so good. I will put the recipe in the description of my video. This is something I really always enjoy doing in the forest because it's so fresh and so good. What happens when you put too much water is it's thick like this. If you cannot keep your hand more than 1 or 2 seconds, it's good. I will keep the rest for later. Usually I like to make it on coals, but for video purpose I need light, and I got no front light neither. It's more a mistake than something else. I like to bring a light usually in case of emergency, but this time I forgot it. And when I arrived here and realized it, I decided to do with this, to deal with that, because then you got no choice. When you do this on your next trip, think about me. Oh wow, that's gonna be awesome. The smell, it's even better than the steak. Very hot. Whew. So I've been sleeping quite a lot. I slept about 3 times and I wake up 3 times with a dead fire. And the last time I woke up and I was very very cold. It's extremely cold outside right now. So I've put my clothes. The problems is always the same. I don't know what time is it. So I don't know what's going on. Uh, my wood is going down, but still got plenty of hours left. And, yeah, I feel like I slept about at least an hour minimum. But when you wake up completely frozen, it's difficult on the body. But that's part of the experience. That's always nice, and there's always a lot to learn from it. Now, I think it's time for a nice shaga tea to warm from the inside too, not only from the fire. Drinking a warm tea is amazing in these conditions. It really makes a difference to drink something very hot. good for the head. So when I was gathering stuff, I got my shaga, and if I remember, I put it there. Oh, yeah. It's a great piece of shaga, and I will be using a 1 inch cube. Boil it for about I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I don't like my shaga tea to be very strong, and that's gonna be it. And every time I wake up, my dog is looking straight at me, and I open my eyes and I got that big face looking at me. And it's not a good wake up. This is almost a tradition for me. Making a tea in the middle of the night when my body is not fighting so good against cold. It's always a good thing to make a nice tea. Sometimes I bring tea from home today. It's gonna be a shaga tea. I've been traveling in Africa 2 times. The first time it was very nice because I was living in a small chamber, and it was perfect. But the second trip, I went there with my bicycle and hammock. But at this time, I had no experience at all in the forest, and I've been 3 weeks uh, in the jungle with no fires, and let me tell you that it was a nightmare. Being alone, no dogs, nothing. Being alone in the jungle with no fires, you feel alone, and it's dark, very dark. Fire has a huge impact on the mental, and when you live this experience, when I came back, it was clear that I had to practice survival in the forest to continue this kind of trip. And some people may wondering why I'm so obsessed by fire. It's because that I know that fire makes the difference between being pretty comfortable. Yes, I wake up and I'm frozen, but 1 minute later it's very warm. But when you're alone and it's dark and it's cold, you feel like shit. And some people may be wondering why I'm so hard with myself and why I practice under very difficult condition. It's because difficult condition is reality. And I never want to be stuck like this again, never again. And when I came back, I began to practice forest survival, but quickly became addicted to friction fire because I never want to be stuck without a fire, never again. But it's been an experience that completely changed my life, completely. And I suggest anyone to practice fire in the most difficult condition because back then there was thunderstorm every night, and I was unable to start a fire even with a lighter, because at this time I had never made a fire in the forest. But when I left, I thought that I would be able to make a fire with a lighter in any situation. But with frequent thunderstorms, I was unable, and the sun was going down at 6 p.m. and it was only up at 6 a.m. So the night were very, very long. It was in Central Africa, and never again, never again.